Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum. This is Ali. Once again, we are back with yet another episode. We didn't have an episode last week because there was some stuff happening with some people, but we're back with episode 79. Uh, I don't know if anyone expected this, but we have some special guests. One new special guest and one returning special guest on the show. We're going to talk about the recently concluded amazing series of Easypaisa Raahi. And for that, we have Umair Jaswal and Zeeshan Parwez on the show. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on the show. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having us, Ali.
Thank you so much for having us, man.
Of course. My pleasure. And thank you again for being on the show. I don't know if I did this the last time you were on, Zeeshan, but हमारा big जरा हालात देख के एक typical सी opening बन गई है कि सबके हालात ओके हैं आजकल की दुनिया में. How is everyone safe and healthy and secure?
Healthy तो Zeeshan काफी हो गए, as we put on some good pounds, and so have I. I mean, COVID lockdown has not been nice to anyone of us.
Let me just go on the record कि राही ने मुझे 10 किलो और ज़्यादा माशाल्लाह मुझे heavier बना दिया 10 किलो ज़्यादा.
Wow.
You're turning back into the old Zeeshan.
Yes, I'm turning back to the old Zeeshan. But post-production of Raahi did this to me, man. Let this be on the record.
Post-production. Okay. So, guys, speaking of Raahi, that's exactly why I was very excited in getting you guys on the show because it concluded, I think, a week or maybe 2 weeks ago. I think the last episode, the finale came out, and I think to use some casual language, काफी सबकी blast हो गई थी मतलब देख के like no one's ever seen anything like this. We've seen there used to be travel shows. I remember बचपन में STN PTV. I used to see there was this one guy, I've forgotten his name. He used to do the show like a travelogue, but and then हमने YouTube.
Wajahat. He used to do Travel Guide of Pakistan.
Travel Guide of Pakistan. Yes. I remember बचपन में I grew up in Dubai, and वहाँ Dubai festival, shopping festival होती है, global village लगता है. So he was there once, and I was like, that was my first celebrity encounter. I was like, shit, this guy's on TV, and now he's here in real life. But given YouTube saturation and penetration into everyone's devices and households, and just it was a great overall venture, I felt. So congratulations firstly is what I would like to say on the whole series. An amazing job. I have, as you know, a list of questions which I will keep referring to, but like I've mentioned, koi bhi kahani aur karni ho, even about something else, we're fine. So I think, as always, we'll start at the very start of the show, of the production process. I was interested in finding out, like, pardon my ignorance, but Umair, I know you primarily as a singer. Like, I wasn't aware. Har episode ka written and scripted by Umair Jaswal, UJ Productions. I don't know if you've done any acting before, but my thing was just like Umair's a singer, and that's what he does. That's what he's great at. That's what he's famous for. But you and Zeeshan, how did you guys first come up with the concept of the show? How did this start at the very start?
I'll let Zeeshan explain all of it.
Okay. So, thank you. First of all, to answer your question, I thought exactly the same time as well when myself and Umair, when we were talking about the idea as well. And I'll just come to that as well. I always thought of Umair as, a performer, an artist and stuff as well, a singer as well. I knew he, by the way, he acted. He was in Samad Hussain's play as well, and he did a phenomenal job as well. But I was just so surprised when he came on board. I did not know that inside Umair Jaswal lived a sophisticated writer inside his brain, literally, who basically wanted to create this world. And I was fascinated because what happened, and this is the first time I actually telling him on his face as well, but I was super fascinated by exactly the kind of world that he created through his writings. Now, the way how we approached this was last year, and Omer, correct me if I'm wrong, so this is, I remember how it was. Both of us were part of Coke Studio when Chal Raha Hu Main, when we finished as well. So we, thought, okay, chal, let's get together after a couple of days and stuff as well. Let's hang out as well. So once the shootings were done, him and Samad were somewhere and they wanted to meet me, and so I said, okay, sure, fine. So Rahi essentially is 100% Umair's idea. He pitched the whole idea to me that this was a thing which was so close to his heart that he wanted to do for a couple of years, and he wanted me to direct that. So I instantly fell in love with the idea, and I thought कि यार के I was completely signed on. मगर मैं उमर को थोड़ा ज़रा वो कर रहा था, हाँ यार, चलो ठीक है, बात करते हैं इस पे and everything. But I fell in love with the concept because एक बात होती है कि one thing, and I'm so grateful to God for that, is that I've been blessed to actually work with wonderful people in my career, and Umair just tops that list because of what we went through in that one whole year of that. So, I mean, I think when he presented that idea, I knew instantly that here's a person who's talking about a concept, about something which is much more than whatever he appears to be. It's something it's passion pata chalta hai usme. There's a lot of things, the way he defined it. We actually had a lot of sessions, and I used to record those sessions. Okay, what does this mean to you, and how? And then we went like I wanted to know everything about Umair, how you grew up, etc. I'm like, okay, let's just make it more. My only input was like, let's just have you dictate the whole thing, and your life should be an open book to everyone. He said, okay, this is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm open to that. Right. So, and that's how we sort of constructed the whole thing, really.
So I guess the question then, Umair, would be how or maybe why did you want to do this?
Ali, सबसे पहले तो thank you so much, Zeeshan, for all the kind words. You don't say them to my face when I meet you, but now you're saying all these things. Nice to hear that after all that we've been through on the road together. This idea was, I think, somewhere in 2016, 17. Going through life and all the things that come with it, and all the things that come with fame and traveling, and being a performing artist, and always traveling, always being busy with traveling and going places, and not being able to actually experience those places was building up for quite a while. And God has been very kind. Alhamdulillah, I always believed कि इतना मैं talented नहीं हूँ जितना अल्लाह ने मुझे नाम दिया है, इतनी इज्जत दी है. So उस चीज के साथ there was this thing growing inside of me where I wanted to explore and find out new things in life. Or I think 2016-17 वो time है जब you can say कि I was the more busy 3 साल थे मेरे 2-3 2015 से लेके 2018 के दरमियान में. और उस टाइम पे मुझे एक बड़ा गैप और एक बड़ा एक void सा फील होना शुरू हो गया था यार कि I'm doing this and it's another show, another city, another day, but I'm not really living or not really enjoying my life because sadly जिस चीज से हम भागते हैं from a day job ये वही बन रहा है दिन ब दिन. So I wanted to find an escape for myself, and I found that escape in something that was so close to me. It was riding my bike, and when I started doing that properly, because मैंने bike तो ले लिए थे बड़े अच्छे, but वो decoration piece बन गए हुए थे, वो utility कोई थी नहीं, वो देखने में बहुत खूबसूरत थे, वो कहते थे यार क्या जबरदस्त इमेज के साथ जाते हैं, बड़ा biker look बनता है इसके साथ. फोटो शूट्स में बड़े अच्छे लगते थे, लेकिन उसकी कोई यूटिलिटी नहीं थी, उसका कोई एक्सप्रेशन नहीं था, और कोई ऑनेस्टी नजर नहीं आ रही. So all of a sudden, from riding big choppers and stuff, I decided, yeah, maybe I need to get into adventure riding, and I need to just get out and just go to places and get lost for a little while. And 2016-17, I was traveling up north on my bike, and I realized that there's so much that we can show about our country. There's so many things that we can say. A lot of things जो हम TV पे देख रहे हैं, I always found this huge disconnect between what I wanted to hear and what I wanted to say and what I was viewing and what I was seeing and what I was hearing. Uh, and that goes in music as well. The world was quickly changing around us, and वो एक जो आप जिस चीज के लिए stand करते हैं, वो current trends और band wagoning और ये आजकल hit चल रहा है तो इस तरह का सब कुछ होना शुरू हो जाए, उसके अंदर वो कहीं बहुत पीछे रह गया था. So I was going through my own personal exploration at that time while I was writing, and I realized that if ever we can make something and we can create something of this scale, जो उसका भी scale इतना मजे का और इतना बड़ा हो, तो हम उसमें बहुत important बातें भी कर सकते हैं और हम उसमें बहुत important चीजों को address भी कर सकते हैं और हम उसमें पाकिस्तान को एक ऐसे तरीके से दिखा सकते हैं जैसे हमने कभी पहले देखा नहीं. हमें देखने में आंखों को जितना खूबसूरत लगता है हमारा मुल्क, वो जब भी हम कोई फुटेज देखते हैं या कोई फिल्म देखते हैं या कोई शॉर्ट्स देखते हैं, कोई एड देखते हैं, तो वो वाली चीज नजर नहीं आ पाती, या वो एक्सपीरियंस आता है तो बहुत थोड़ी देर के लिए होता है. यू रियली डोंट गेट टू विजुअली लिव दैट एक्सपीरियंस. So all these thoughts were in my mind, and I thought, well, कर सकते हैं, let's give it a try. And I started thinking on the project, started thinking on the idea even more. थोड़ा सा और सोचा. Took me a year or so, uh, and I was in a, and it's very strange now when I think of it. While talking to you, how did the brand come into it, and how did it become this thing?
Yeah.
I remember I was just going on my bike, and I was just getting to leave. मैं 2017 में जब गया था, मैंने कुछ GoPro footage, वैसी GoPro footage बनाई थी मैंने, और मेरे पास एक ड्रोन था, उसको मैंने follow पे लगा के अपने कुछ shots लिए. And I came back home and I made a home video, and everybody really loved it, that home video. वो मैं जा रहा था तो मुझे बात हुई, ब्रांड की किसी बंदे से बात हुई, यार क्या कर रहे हो आजकल? And I said, yeah, I don't know, I'm just gonna ride my bike. I just want to take a break from music, maybe stop writing for a while. I need a fresh perspective. उस टाइम पे उन्होंने कहा, यार, what are you thinking? What do you want to do? And I shared the idea with them slightly, and this has been the power of the idea, where I shared the idea with them, and they were sold immediately. They were like, आप ये हमारे बगैर कर ही नहीं रहे. मैंने कहा, यार, नॉर्थ विंटर्स आने वाले हैं, मैंने जाना है, आई नीड टू ट्रैवल, रोड्स बंद हो जाएंगी, बर्फ पड़ जाएगी, मुझे जाने दो. एंड दे वर लाइक, नहीं, आप जा ही नहीं सकते, ये हम साथ करेंगे, लेट्स कंस्ट्रक्ट इट अ लिटिल बिट मोर, कुछ इस तरह से सोच लेते हैं, इस तरह से, डू इट विद अस, व्हाट यू नीड. एंड आई वाजंट लुकिंग फॉर लाइक अ ब्रांड और somebody to come on board. We were just having a conversation. Similarly, when I met Zeeshan, we met it again, like he said, we met at Coke Studio. We were doing it together. And basically, we were catching up because he came back from Canada after a very long time, and we've known each other for quite some time. He's literally seen me grow up. He's made videos for my elder brother, so I've always known him as Zeeshan Bhai, और अब ये Zeeshan हो गया मेरे लिए. That's the funny part. So वो respect का level कम हो गया, दोस्ती का level ज़्यादा हो गया. No, I'm just kidding. I respect to the highest level, but when I shared, again, the power of the idea was that I'm not going to say that it's the most original idea in the world, but it had something, and the same way the brand people saw, there's something in the idea. इसकी full एक rounded approach थी. When I shared it with Zeeshan, I already had somebody in mind who was going to direct this. A lot of people really asked me that. I've directed some of our initial videos as well. So the idea crossed my mind, okay, why not direct it myself? But I didn't want to do that because I was writing, and writing requires a lot of focus. You really need to be focusing on writing and other things. So this was a very crucial job, and I already had somebody else in mind. And when I shared the idea with Zeeshan ने तो I swear वो नहीं होता कि टेक ओवर कर लिया सीन. Zeeshan ने कहा कोई सीन ही नहीं है, कोई और कर ही नहीं रहा, मेरे अलावा कोई बना ही नहीं रहा, मैंने बता दिया बस. He was playing hard to get initially, but I could see that how excited he was about the project. And there is this huge credit that the world, I think, needs to know, is that when the show is over, a lot of people think कि उसकी जो organic nature है, उसकी जो एक artist या एक celebrity या जो भी आप कहना चाहते हैं, उसको एक public figure को जो strip down करने का process है, उसके लिए मैं सबसे ज़्यादा conscious था, because I've never really enjoyed social media and followers and numbers really, and I'm not in that game. I don't consider myself being a part of that game. Um, और मैं हमेशा से अपने आप को बताया कि I'm not running in that race. तो मुझे अपने आप को या अपने बारे में इतनी ज़्यादा information share करना, it wasn't really an idea that really fascinated.
Yeah.
And I was kind of scared about it as well. Yeah, why am I opening this door into my personal life? There's a mystique around who I am. And it's always been like that. कि यार एक mysterious आदमी है, गाने गाता है और अच्छे गाता होगा, चला जाता है, आता है गाता है और चला जाता है, और shows बड़े अच्छे होते हैं, बड़ा मजा आता है.
Yeah.
But why am I going into this direction where I'm sharing all of this information? And that fear, I think Zeeshan really stepped in at that. And initially the show was a lot about biking and my love for bikes and all of that. And that's all there. But that very important layer and I think that's a success, and full credit goes to Zeeshan for that matter, is that he really saw the personality before anything else. And he said, I want to talk about the personality more. I want to talk about the human element of it more than anything, because I think as a filmmaker, he realized that that's the most important string and that's the most important fabric that you need to stay connected to or hold on to. And he did that. And jab unhone wo kiya, and it was scary for me, but it paid off really well. So I think he made me, he's the guy who made me write it. Because we were trying to get writers on board for this. Aapne kaha, a script written by Arath Umair Jaswal. So we were trying like any other production. Me and Zeeshan were banging our head against the wall, trying different writers. Keep on likhega. But Zeeshan really pushed me. He said, "Yeah, you know what? You should write it." And then one day I remember we were in Kasur, and we weren't getting along with one of our writers. And it was just a constant back and forth chal raha tha. And one thing that I love about me and Zeeshan both is we're totally, negative vibes ka to koi scene hi nahi hai hamare mein. So hum log, we really flourish on positivity. So Zeeshan was like, yeah, you know what? I would really love to you just take a stab at it. And I did that, and it became very real. And when it became very real, that's when Zeeshan said, "Aur koi likh hi nahi raha." End of story, end of discussion. You're writing it. Chahe sahi hai, galat hai, acha hai, bura hai, jo bhi hai. I want this in your own words, your own thoughts. And that's going to be the soul of the show.
Yeah. That really ties into my next thing, which I was going to ask about, like the setup of the show and how it was planned and stuff. So usually when you look at like अच्छा जी हम travel show बना रहे हैं पाकिस्तान के बारे में, you would focus the episodes around the locations, but all the episodes are focused around like these abstract concepts like reflection and that sort of stuff, which really makes it like the location is obviously a part of it, and you talk about the city you're in or the town you're in, history वगैरह. But the theme in each episode is the underlying like thought process that you're going through. So that's clearly something that was shuru se part of the plan.
Yeah, but I see when as creators, I think, and this is where me and Zeeshan really aligned, and we had a similar mindset. But it was so strange that we and Zeeshan would complete each other's sentences, right? Or हम लोग एक दूसरे की thoughts complete कर रहे होते थे बात करते थे. So that was like
hi,
a point.
Umair, hi.
So that was a point. That was a point that where it also made us realize that okay, we're both thinking the same thing, and ideally we're both we both share the same vision for the show. It was coming from a place of pain, and a lot of realizations and a lot of self-discovery.
Yeah.
But for Zeeshan as well, it was quite interesting because he was connecting to all of that. So in our universe that we created, and I would love that Zeeshan is elaborate kare. But in our universe, Pakistan is as beautiful as you see it. The universe that we created through the show, the universe of Easypaisa Raahi, उसमें पाकिस्तान तो इतना ही खूबसूरत है. उसमें locations से ज़्यादा important है जो बातें हम करें, जो message carry करना चाह रहे हैं. Because usually that's the difference between कि हमें समझ ही नहीं आती थी कि ये travel log है, travel film है, travel series है, docu film है, क्या है? We couldn't really tell because it was so inwards. It was so self-reflective and introspective कि हमें खुद भी समझ नहीं आती है किस direction में जा रही है, और what do you call it? It's a different category altogether. And I think that's the originality of the idea right there. कि लोग हमसे expect कर रहे थे कि हम जाएंगे तो हम कहेंगे ये देखो ये मीनार पाकिस्तान है, ये इतने सालों से बना हुआ है ये
No.
ऐसे है तो वो वाला नहीं था सो आई थिंक वो एक ऐसी चीज थी जिसके ऊपर शुरू से ही मैंने और जीशान ने वी वर अलाइंड ये हमारा यूनिवर्स जो है इट्स गोना टॉक अबाउट डिफरेंट थिंग्स
Yeah.
and we're not going to talk about the things that we usually when we watch certain things not to take away anything from people who do that it's
No.
a phenomenal job जो vlogging करते हैं कुछ करते हैं so that's why it's different from that two things
Yeah.
I told Zishan at no point I'm going to hold a selfie stick or take a selfie moment
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and the other is that it needs to be about deeper things.
I think, look, here's the thing. Like, as Umair, I'm just going to echo what Umair said. Like that, this is not. I don't consider this as a travel show at all. I think for me, it's Umair's life as an open book. Now that has a lot of elements to it as well. I mean, we talk about childhood, we talk about different things, and we talk about like abstract concepts like solitude, isolation, etc., etc. Where the reason why I feel very much like that this is my own show, not just like as a कि आप कहते हैं कि आप director आ गए and stuff as well, but this is I see it as my own baby as well. Is that I've been in transit for the last, I would say, 8 years of my life last year, and sort of transitioning between, making things happen in Pakistan and then transition over to Canada, starting a new life over there, and then coming back again.
Yep.
So it's been sort of like a round trip of a lot of sort of things. And while traveling, I've actually just been learning so much here and there as well and everything. And there's a moment of struggle into it as well. Umair has struggled as well with so many different elements as well, and we sort of are hoping to explore those things and concepts in season 2 as well. Not to give anything away, but I mean the thing is there's so many elements that I've also gone through as well. And when I talked to Umair about it, I sort of found uniformity that there's a lot of things that bind us together that way. The struggle, the hardship of different things, the settling in, not being settled in one place, and so we try to explore those things. I can say safely, and I think Umair will back me up on this, is that the initial drafts that we wrote, mock-up scripts, कि यार हम यही चीजें बातें करेंगे, when we went on the road, those completely changed. We threw them away. When you are on the road, and I did not know that till Umair told me कि यार कि हम जब road पे होंगे, and to be honest, as a filmmaker, I look at practical things like scripts and other things. Sure, fine, that's you're living in the moment, you capture that, but predominantly the reason why it was also a difficult thing for me as well and for my team is that, okay, if we don't have those things, what are we supposed to shoot?
Yeah.
There's a level of prep that you need to do. But when I totally got Umair's vibe in this, once you're on the road, you feel so many different things. I saw Balochistan for the first time and it just blew me away. Literally. कि हम कौन सी दुनिया में रह रहे हैं यहाँ पे. And if I were to say, and there's so many moments like myself and Umair, which we saw so many, एक तो sunrises and sunsets हमने इतने देख लिए थे इन 2-3 महीनों में, literally, that it was just a part of our lives. It was a beautiful feeling. बम्बोर में कभी बैठ जाते थे, गवादर में कभी बैठ जाते थे, and it was just beautiful to actually experience those moments. Now, you do not need to follow production clock at that time. You take your time. You absorb those feelings. You be one with the environment. So that was the thing. The universe of Rahi also lends its success to Umair's patience. In many ways. I call it 3 ways of the success. The reason being Umair's 3 attributes which strongly hold the success of the show. One is basically his patience. I can tell you when for sure that when someone is riding like riding adventure bike, a heavy bike, उसे अगर आप कहते हैं कि यार भाई ये शॉट ले लिए वापस आप आए जरा एक शॉट लेना है, वो जो है आपको गालियां देकर आपको कुटेगा. No biker wants to be stopped. And this guy all over Pakistan never said a word. I told him, yaar, we got this shot, but we need another one. So you need to go back and come back again. You have to do it 2 times. And he would do it. बहुत ज़्यादा patience चाहिए होती है. The other thing is his writing. Phenomenal things that came in as well. And I was surprised. And that's why I gave the space away from him as well. I actually, to be honest, and I want to work with artists that way as well. Whatever world they create as well, I visually interpret it in a way as well. I just steer up the directions. Yeah, these are the directions that you want to apply. And alhamdulillah, in the whole course, I don't think with the exception of just one disagreement. I don't think we ever had any disagreements at all, mashallah. And that also is a very stupid disagreement as well. वो मैं फिर अगर वो हो तो फिर कभी बात करें अगर Umair allows, but that was not even over anything. There was not even a disagreement इस तरह किया कि क्या चीज़. There was a stupid thing over a music cue. एक छोटी चीज़ थी. It was like a 30-second music cue. मैंने कहा ये नहीं आने वाला. नहीं, that's it. उसकी भी एक story है, but चलो.
Okay, but that story that's a brand new story.
But okay, let's just head back to the planning bit for a second. So now you guys have met, you've sort of decided Zeeshan's on board, सब कुछ है. How do you finalize के जाना किधर है और किस से मिलना है? And do you have the topics कि if I go to Hyderabad में इस चीज की बात करूँगा, मुल्तान में इस चीज की बात करूँगा? You mentioned that a lot of things were decided in the movie. So how
we had a basic itinerary. We had a basic itinerary, but we would follow that, but we would end up doing more because there was so much to explore. Achha. We actually still there's so much of synth that we still haven't explored, right? It would just take ages and ages. We weren't able to do that. But we would actually go, we were just supposed to do a portion of Thar. We went into other parts of Nagar Pakar. We went to a very isolated Hindu village in the one edge of Nagar Pakar, which many people don't go over there. We saw 200 peacocks flying. तो इस तरह की चीजें जो it just इस तरह की चीज जो itinerary में नहीं थी. So we just went with the flow.
So that was decided like when you were there. You were like
when we were there exactly. Yes.
Achha.
Let's just go exactly. So obviously we would do prep and we would do our prep in terms of getting permission, etc. But वो फिर हो जाता है. It would all fall in place.
I think what Zeeshan is trying to say here is that one thing that I've been trying, and I think Zeeshan was pretty much on board the minute we went on the road. Because he's a very intuitive and very receptive human being. He other than being a phenomenal filmmaker and being exceptionally good at what he does, because he's not just a director who
he loves it. Zeeshan loves it when you
trust me, I would like to add that I had my fair share of talking with other directors and presenting the idea to them and people who are at the top right now and are doing big ad films and stuff. They really didn't get the idea, and they also didn't get the drive of creating something which would turn out to be timeless and people would love it so much. So wahan pe to it's full credit for the patience and for the time and the effort that Zeeshan has put into a project. It's a year-long project, and you have to be married to an idea and a show for that long. It becomes a very long emotional attachment. And it becomes a part of your life. It becomes a part of your thought process. The show completely changes you.
Yeah.
So, ये सब बातें तो एक तरफ थी, but what Zeeshan in the planning process, coming back to your question, was कि किस तरह से हमने decide किया कि हम इस शहर में क्या करेंगे.
Yeah.
बहुत सारी जगह हम लोगों ने एक basic road map with the help of our researchers जो हमारे biking के थे researchers जो हमारी road maps वो कर रहे थे. किसी ने मुझे पूछा कि आपका रेकी कौन करता था, आपका लोकेशन स्काउट या लोकेशन मैनेजर कौन था. I have only one answer. I always say कि वो अल्लाह मियां थे जो करते थे, क्योंकि जहाँ पे अल्लाह मियां बादल ले आते थे वहाँ हम शूट कर लेते थे, जहाँ से बादल हट जाते थे वहाँ शूट कर लेते थे. We would just look at the landscape, and the show has been so organic. You cannot control this show. That's the reality of the show. I think a huge part of being an artist and being somebody who's on a job and needs to finish a job, we all love control. We all love कि यार हमारे पास एक certain amount of control होना चाहिए. We need to have this control. हमें पता होना चाहिए हमने कहाँ जाना है, क्या करना है. This show just changed everything completely, and it has changed us in a way and taught us so many things. कि यार control क्या होता है? आप किस खुशी में control बना रहे हैं? मैं आपका control उठा के खिड़की से बाहर फेंक दूँगा. And the show did that. The show actually wrote itself. All these things were meant to happen on the road. So many things that were not planned have become the true essence of the show. They've become the heart of the show. Things and people that we've met, they weren't a part of the plan. They weren't even reached out when we were leaving Islamabad. So I think हम लोग अपनी planning पूरी करके लिए थे. हमने यहाँ ये सोचना है, ये करना है. लेकिन जब once we got there, things got so different. Things changed so quickly and drastically that me and Zeeshan initially हम लोग थोड़े डर गए. हमने कहा यार ये तो कुछ और ही हो रहा है.
Yeah.
And then both of us kind of realized that, you know what, I think maybe this is what the show is. Maybe we don't need to be scared of this. Maybe we need to embrace it. Maybe we need to respect. Yeah, this is how the show is writing itself, and we are just characters going through the journey. So let's go this route. It could be it could turn out to be the most expensive homemade video that we've ever made for our kids to see, or it could truly be something remarkable. And it turned out to be the latter. And it's that was the process because so see, these are the learnings that we're taking into season 2. These are the learnings that we're taking into the next part.
Yeah,
that really does sound like, from an artistic creative point of view, that does sound like an ideal scenario where the story sort of writes itself. But what I also am thinking about here is, you guys, what was the involvement, if in however much detail you can talk about it, what was the involvement of Easypaisa in the show? Like, did they have any sort of message or guidelines or something? Was there like a fixed time period you guys had? Did that stay? Because it's great to just do what you want as things go, but then when you have corporate interests, so that sort of kabhi kabhar unki bhi input aati hai.
See, that's where I would, that's why the show is called Easypaisa Raahi. It's not called Raahi. And I think I have been married to the brand in a way because the brand's ideology is phenomenal. See, हमने हमेशा जब भी corporates के बारे में सोचा, we've thought about these old guys sitting there not really caring what really matters, and ये हम सबका हमेशा से रोना रहा है यार लोग बैठे होते हैं non artistic किस्म के non creative लोग बैठे और MBA boys बैठ के decision
exactly
होते हैं creative, and that's ये हमेशा सबका रोना है. But I would tell you one thing, that ये show हम भी नहीं बना सकते थे, ये शो वो भी नहीं बना सकते थे, ये शो कोई भी नहीं बना सकते, ये शो हम इकट्ठे मिलके एक साथ बना सकते थे. इसकी रीजन क्या है? इसकी रीजन ये है कि जो thought process, that the one that I was running after, and the one idea that I was so obsessed with, that I wanted to make the show, and I was going myself, I was going and writing, and I was thinking, okay, अगर मैं पिछली बार 3 कैमरा लेके गया था, तो मैं 4-5 कैमरा ले जाता हूँ और थोड़ा सा और extra shoot कर लूंगा. From that point, for this becoming into a full-blown production and becoming the biggest television release in the history of Pakistan, where it's airing on 30 odd channels every Saturday prime time, सारा शाम चलता है, उसमें brand का बहुत बड़ा हाथ है. और brand का हाथ, where I would say that, see, that's the point. What we need to realize is that it's a visionary brand that has changed the way we move finances in our country. They've made it so easy for us to do these things. And they're very easygoing people in real life as well. And they really respect your vision, your creativity. And the amount of trust and confidence that the brand had in me was also very scary. Okay, यार एक बंदे को कह रहे हैं जाएं बाइक चलाएं जाके शो बना के ले आएं. Let me tell you, there was zero involvement in a way कि वो हमें dictate कर रहे हो कि creatively क्या.
That's what I was asking.
Trusted. They did not say a word, because once they realized, and once I think when I was talking to them, they saw the passion, the same passion जिसको देख के Zeeshan came on board, and he wanted, यार नहीं, I'm going to do this with you. I'm with you on this one. We're going to do this together. I think the brand also saw the same kind of passion when I was talking to them, and the same idea that I wanted to share. Yeah, we have to be the captain of our own ship. This line is exactly what Easypaisa brand ideology is all about. You have to take control in your own hands. I wasn't using these words, but my ideology and my thought process was the same. So in a way, in the divine universe, somewhere in the divine force was working, and somewhere in the universe, both of us, the brand and the artist, came together, and they kind of had the same vision for the kind of thing that they were preparing or wanting to make. So the brand came in with a big heart. The brand came in with an idea, okay, we're also going to give the artist its due respect. We're not going to jump into the creative process. We're not going to dictate कि आपने ये करना है, ये नहीं करना, ये करना है, ये नहीं करना. As long as the show talks about you realizing your true potential, as long as the show is making, and while we talk about some really dark stuff in the show, talk about some, because it's a real show. We cannot just talk about all the good things. Not look at the left and look and say, यार ये मसले भी exist नहीं करते इस मुल्क में. And सबसे बड़ा जो मेरा break हुआ था for the brand was like, wow, yeah, these people are so cool. They're letting us talk about whatever we feel like talking, and they're standing by it. One conversation that we had with the episode was airing, the first episode. कि वो शुरू में एक slide आती है कि जी all the views presented in this show are of the presenter of the show and the brand, and the channel does not take any ownership of the ideas and ideologies reflected. तो वो एक पूरा disclaimer आता है. The brand was like, nahi, we stand with you. We stand with the product. We stand with what you're trying to say. What you're trying to say is very honest. It's true. These are things that every Pakistani feels. And I think ये एक brand की success है. ये एक उस brand के अंदर उन amazing लोगों की success है. जो उन visionary लोगों की success है जो believe करते हैं कि यार हमने एक clutter को कैसे break करना है. हमने एक जो normal चीज हम देखी जा रहे हैं टीवी पे उसको कैसे break करना है. And बहुत दफा लगता था ऐसे कि यार शायद ये कहीं इतना कोई सीरियस शो ना बन जाए कि लोगों को मजा ना आए या लोगों के लिए बोरिंग ना हो जाए क्योंकि इतना भी इसकी टोन इस तरह की ना हो जाए. But not for a second that happened. Did not.
And I'm just going to add that, for a director, it's just so refreshing that there was no sort of interference from the brand at all. In fact, I was just so happy and grateful for all the trust and all the amount of trust that they actually had in myself and Umair. Was just also one of the reasons of the success of the show. Had it been the other way around, our hearts would not have been in it. The reason why we gave our 200% for this was that the fact that they let us do our thing. They really stood by us each and every moment. And I actually came out to Umair because since Umair being the producer, he was directly with the client as well. And I told him, "Yaar, baat suno, client theek hai ya nahi? Are they like, there was no sort of, I thought, I wasn't used to this sort of thing as well." They were saying, "Yeah, dude, they're everywhere, they're happy." And we didn't refer them as client, right? The word client comes in as well. It wasn't in our books, really, to be honest. So it was a super humbling experience working with wonderful
that's really great, and
really hats off to them. Really hats off to them.
Wow.
They also believe in the fact that when I think there comes a point in your life, people in the sitting even at the top, they're very young people. I mean, by young I mean they're not too old. People in the top position in the brand, and they have seen what our industry has gone through. They understand the value of good content. They watch and they view good content themselves. And I think they kind of realize that it's time to stand behind something which is honest and which is coming from the heart and which is artistic on every level. Like for example, I don't want एक dictation की जहाँ बात करते हैं ना वहाँ ये होता है कि dictation 5 दिन के लिए हो सकती है, एक ad shoot के लिए हो सकती है, dictation जो है वो एक महीने के लिए हो सकती है, लेकिन dictation 1-1.5 साल के लिए नहीं हो सकती. Then nobody would be able to take it. So I think the brand also realized that it's a long-term thing. It's a year's job to finish a product like this, a project like this. So they gave us our freedom, and I'm just so glad because we didn't let them down.
No, definitely. I mean, initially, I must admit, I was a bit like being अपनी तरफ से बड़ा ना artsy person. मतलब यार ये नाम के साथ उन्होंने easy पैसा लिख दिया. It should have been just Rahi or ये वो. But hearing what you're saying, it really it really stands that without them.
I mean, I wouldn't call it anything else because see, वही वाली आपकी बात कि वो नाम के साथ लिख दिया है. But what we need to realize is that if there wasn't Easypaisa, there wouldn't be a Rahi.
Makes sense.
Because that's the only brand who had the guts or the courage to stand behind something this big and then run with it completely. Because I remember this being when we decided to make this was a web series, right?
Okay.
But when they saw it, it became a television release, and not just any television release. It became the biggest television release of the year of the history. Like we talk about other shows such as big shows as Coke Studio and Pepsi Battle of the Bands and all these big brands and big shows. Even they don't air on this many channels, and they did that because they believed in it. So I think all credit goes there to the brand, and I think they're a very cool brand, and they have a lot of young people who are thinking way ahead of time. And I think it's time when other brands also take inspiration from this. It's time that people let artists be artists. उनको उनकी creativity को रोकने से आपको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. शायद अगर आप उनको freedom देंगे तो they'll make you even 10 times more proud and deliver 10 times even more. अगर ज़ीशान को dictation मिलती है, ज़ीशान कहता अच्छा ठीक है काम है बस काम करता. He would not put the days and nights and the tireless effort and never-ending जो काम होता था वो कभी भी ना करता और उसको एक दिहाड़ी की तरह लेता है, एक मीटर सिस्टम की तरह.
Exactly. Absolutely.
And all of that made us work extra to make this what it is.
I was interested, Zeeshan, Umair mentioned he was talking about making videos pehle and ke 3 camera le gaya tha, ab main 4-5 le jaunga, but then it became production. What was your crew like? I mean, it can't be like a too big team because you guys have to be pretty nimble going from city to city and making these short changes, quick changes. How many people were there? What sort of equipment? Like, I'm a bit of a camera nerd.
Yeah, absolutely. So very tight crew, but a wonderful, very, very tight and one of the most competent crews I've ever had the pleasure of working with. I'm actually going to name those guys. I think everything starts off with a guy filmmaker called Danish Ansari. He's always been with Umair since quite a bit of time now, and he's been filming him as well, and he's been working with Umair for quite a bit of time. I actually got to know him through this project, through Umair, and he was obviously on board as well. He was more than a cam op. He was actually a person who I mean, just as amongst us as well. He brought in his vision about exactly what could be in terms of research, in terms of aesthetic values, etc. It was just spot on. Pleasure working with him. I have had the pleasure with working with one of our other people who was actually a production manager for this project, Haris Khan, who was also a drone operator as well, partially drone operator, and he's done a phenomenal job.
The drone shots were like insane.
Absolutely. The other half जो है मैं अभी जो introduce करने जा रहा हूँ, मेरे पीछे एक बंदा बैठा हुआ है. Hey Abu Bakar, say hi Abu Bakar.
Come on guys. Come on guys.
So I'm just going to hold on. The headphones
okay, how are you?
Haji. Assalamualaikum.
Hi.
So this
Abu Bakar, how are you?
This is he's my right hand man. He's one of myself and him. We edited the whole show, and he also cam opped, and he graded the whole season, and he did most of the drone shots that you see in Punjab and Sindh. That's this guy over here as well.
Amazing.
So yeah,
Abu Bakar sahab bahut like we're big fans. I saw you Irfan Junejo wali live stream पे भी and बहुत ही मतलब an amazing job जो कि
ये हर जगह पहुंचा होता है.
He's everywhere, man.
उमैर में हमेशा इसकी वो कर रहे होते हैं.
Easypaisa season 3 में राही में season 3 में अबू बकर बाइक पे जा रहा हूँ.
नहीं but seriously visuals जो थे ना आपके वो बहुत ही like I mean drone shots देखे हमने और वैसे भी बहुत सारे vloggers वगैरह, but the level of production जब was much higher than anything I've personally ever seen. तो वो बहुत ही मतलब really amazing job.
Thank you very much sir.
Thank you Ali, इसका ज़्यादा दिमाग खराब ना करें, ये अगले सीजन में खत्म करेगा.
I remember Ali, myself, and this is actually in June. इस कमरे में उमैर भी आया हुआ था, ये भी था, myself, and we were, I think, जो post production जो असली जो शुरू हुई was the trailer. That itself was for us because that was stepping stones में हमने सब कुछ एक साथ किया. That was a special moment, and I think when all of us came in together and when we sort of edited the trailer, we made the trailer. That's when we knew कि यार okay, this show जो है,
it's happening.
Something which actually has the potential, and I think that's at that point. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. I think that's where also the brand also realized कि okay, this is. And at that point, when they saw the trailer as well, they took it to another next level. They got TV releases as well. So it's an all combined effort, really, to be honest, of each and every one of the names I mentioned as well, and this guy as well.
Just so I understand the time frame. ये आप लोगों ने shoot कब किया था, and then how long did it take till it came out?
We started shooting late 2019, and it went on till when the lockdowns were announced. So that's pretty much, I mean, in and out, उसमें हम कर रहे थे spells में, but it was a couple of months, and उसके बाद से जो after the lockdown, that's when post-production started. And it went on and on till really, to be honest, till August, etc.
So ये lockdown जब हुआ था, did that interrupt your filming? Were you just gonna go on और भी ज़्यादा, या was that supposed to be where the show ended?
I'll let Umair answer that.
See, Ali, if the lockdown wouldn't have happened, if the COVID situation, I think this situation has been hard on everyone in Pakistan. First of all, our hearts go out to everyone who lost their lives and families, and prayers for them, and people who are suffering financially and have struggled with this tough time. So, first of all, this has been a very, very hard time for everyone.
Yeah.
And when it happened, I remember me and Zeeshan were counting cases when it started happening. Until the very end, till we got to say Balochistan, and until the end of the show. When the count went to around 7 to 10 official reported cases,
Yeah.
I think that's the point where me and Zeeshan, we decided that, you know what, we need to stop.
Yeah.
We need to stop right now, because see, me and you, we're crazy people. Me and I know. If I have no one else in the world to make this show, but just Zeeshan, we'll still manage something. So we could have gone on and on for throughout the COVID situation as well, but it just wasn't safe, and just wasn't responsible, because we had around 10 people with us, 10, 12 people with us, a crew from our drivers. They're all family now, people who were driving us, people who were our recovery, people who were managing the production, all the crew, the creative crew, the production crew. So it was a huge responsibility. So it was an executive decision that we had to take initially, and then go to the brand as well and tell them that here's the ground reality. And I'm so glad that it happened, and I'm so glad that we made that decision that we need to stop right now, because it was a responsible decision to do that. It was for the safety of everyone, and also it gave us perspective to literally look at what we have done so far. So we went back on the drawing board and we started looking at what we have achieved. And initially, I think हर चीज in the grand scheme of things, कोई एक चीज होती है, उसकी रीजन में एक और चीज भी होती है. कोई एक दरवाजा बंद होता है तो और दरवाजे खुलते हैं. So we realized when we came back, me and Zeeshan, we started viewing the footage and started understanding, अच्छा यार ये चीजें हमने फील की हैं, ये चीजें हमने बातें करनी है. So it just, as much as we had done and achieved by that time, it was a full-length season by that time. And we were like, okay, we have what we were looking for, so maybe we can just end the season here.
Yeah.
And we were planning कि if it stops, like initially हर किसी की thoughts थी जब lockdown होना शुरू हुआ था, oh, it's only going to take 2 हफ्ते, 3 हफ्ते का lockdown होगा, या महीना चलेगा, फिर सही हो जाएगा सब कुछ. We can all be back. वो भी क्या दिन थे जब हम ऐसे सोचते थे. So and it just the time kept going by, and and we were in the middle. We were in the middle of deciding, okay, if this is the whole season, then we need to deal with it differently. And as a storyteller, I need to approach it differently if this is one season. And if it's just one part of it, then I need to approach it very differently, because it's a different kind of writing that comes into play when you're saying half of the story or the full story.
Yeah.
So I think that at that time, the brand also sat down with us and we showed them what we had. And first of all, they were just blown away by what they saw. And we told them that what we have promised you as far as content pieces are concerned, or what we have promised you as far as number of minutes of content is concerned, we've gone way over that anyways, with what we've created so far. So the best bet would be that we do it maybe right now and turn it into like another season. And which also gives us the opportunity to maybe really grow things and maybe look at things very differently and have some amount of clarity on how to take things forward. And not waste this time in the lockdown and just go completely into edit mode and post-production mode. So when that happened, I think I would really like to pay my respect and give credit to the strategy people at Easypaisa because uh, I would love to name him Arsalan Mohsen. You know, he sat down
Yes.
with us and he said, okay, what we have right now, if we strategize it, and while the lockdown is going on and people are waiting for content, we're sitting on a gold mine. We can release this, and people really want to go outdoors, and people really want to watch
Yeah.
good content, and people really want to, also the other than the commercial gain or the gain that you want to think of it otherwise. He just thought from the pure heart and pure intention of the fact that people are so tied up with the negativity of this whole COVID situation. This would be a breath of fresh air for
Exactly.
everyone
Yeah.
to watch such content. So they made us release it earlier. Like हमने इसको 1.5 महीना और शायद we would have had 2 more months in post production. But he came down to us and he said, guys, the way I've trusted you with the creative vision of the show and with the artistic freedom of the show, you need to trust me on the strategy of this one, and let's air it in August. And we were like, that's too soon. Maybe we need to do more work on the edit because we need to have it really crisp and all of that. And see, like, as artists, we're never really sure, and
Yeah.
हम कभी भी ready नहीं होते to just release
It's never
anything.
done.
Okay? It's never done. It's never done.
Yeah.
So you want to make it better, and so I'm glad we put a cap on it. We did it. We listened to Arsalan, and he was coming with the pure intention of his heart. And I think when the trailer came out for an August 1st release, everything changed. Everything, the strategy was spot on, and full credit to Arsalan for that because people were dying to look for good content. And at a time, at such a dark and depressing time, it was hopeful for them that things will get better and we'll go out again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that really helped. That really helped in the success of the show and what it had become.
What I was also interested, I was going to ask this at a different point, but this also brings that question forward. The change in the timeline and then the shorter, perhaps, locations that you had been to, did that have an impact on how the episodes were framed? Because the episodes are not just आज ये city, अच्छा कल एक और city. Like there's major changes in the tone of the episode. Like specifically what stands out is episode 7 to me, between Karachi and Balochistan. There's just this one episode where it's just landscapes. There's no okay, yahan ye history thi, yahan ye tha. It's just like fully introspective, but also insane landscape, and not a lot of talking. Like it's very. I was telling Zeeshan over text कि मुझे बहुत ही tree of life type situation आ रही थी कि because you're going through पिछला जो जितनी episodes देखी हैं, and उमैर की पूरी जिंदगी is somehow compressed into this one episode. So did these sort of decisions happen when you had started editing, या शुरू से plan था?
See, Ali, and I would also like Zeeshan to add in on this. Initially, even when we started writing, and I started writing and approaching it as a writer, that was a brand new job for me. I've never done. I've written songs. I've written all my life. I've written my own songs, but writing for screen was very different. And writing something that is engaging to the length of 25 minutes constantly, and it has to carry you throughout.
And dealing with like heavy topics too.
And heavy topics too, and also adding in, these layers of information and research and historical accuracy.
Yeah.
And a big shout out to, our researcher, Rafi Mahmood, for that. He completely saved the day, and, he added so much valuable information and historical accuracy. Because there's a department, a lot of people think, there's a department that sits down and does the research that, either approves or cancels my own personal research, जो मैंने की होती है. So, there are layers of fact checking that goes on.
Sure.
But we were never following. I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, Zeeshan, but we were never really following a timeline for the episode. We were following an emotion.
Right.
We were following a question in the heart, and we were just following that question. And our concern was that question needs a closure or an answer, or if not an answer, then some sort of closure by the end of that episode. And sometimes that did not happen. Like, for example, in Dreamers and Dreamers Part 2, it's an emotion that we carry in 2 episodes, and the grand finale of the episode 3, when it ends, episode 2 also concludes with it. So we were always really following the emotion, and we weren't really following the landscape. And that's why a lot of people also say to us, "कि यार आपने हमारी जगह हमारे गांव नहीं आए, आप इधर नहीं आए, उधर नहीं आए." We would love to. Pakistan is so big that every province is a 20 episode ka 40-minute each episode season. So there's so much in Pakistan, so many places. Mashallah, it's such a diverse country. With people, landscape, everything, and arts, culture, heritage, history. So the locations that we were going through, they weren't really of significance. The emotion was, the question was, the quest for what we were trying to find. That was the important.
I think, I just want to add, for us, places, whenever we went, the emotion out there, whatever we were feeling, was super critical in dictating what that episode was supposed to be. Now, naturally, sometimes when you do that, you don't have an ending arc, which is okay, which is fine. It shouldn't scare you too much to actually construct something that you're sort of absorbing real time. Just in the case of, which is one of my favorite episodes, which is episode 7, which is Solitude, is the feeling of isolation where one, at least that's what I thought, and I talked to Umair about it as well. What exactly is on your? I used to ask Umair, what exactly is happening? And when you're on the road as well, you're feeling a lot of things as well. Sometimes you switch off the music and you're going through the isolated landscape, the beautiful landscape of Balochistan, and we just think about things, the concept of time, of what time is, where people before us, how they're not with us anymore, and soon our time will be over and there's going to be new people coming in as well, etc. So is tarah ki cheezein karke jo hai, that's why you have things like I mean, I don't know why that thing, but I just felt right to actually have a whale from a couple of million years ago that starts the show, and just for a couple of seconds, and that actually becomes the tone of the show, the opening tone that brings you to this landscape, an alien landscape where you're all alone and you're all by yourself. And so is tarah ki cheezein we had to. I mean, obviously, then you go to different places like Karachi and Quetta. You're meeting a lot of people. But what I love about Umair is how how beautifully he would describe when you're in Quetta, when you met kids, when you met the children over there. He says, "Yaar, mujhe yahan pe hamara mustaqbil mila." And you look at their faces, and it's just a certain feeling, okay, you know what, this is us, all of us in some ways. Myself and Umair, we went to Quaid-e-Azam's residence in Ziyarat. He just sat there where Quaid-e-Azam used to sit, right? And we just were silent, literally, for almost an hour. And we knew, and we talked about it later on, what it meant for him, what it meant for myself as well. So those things, carry on with you. At Bhanbor, I remember we just went there so we could actually go and catch the sunset at the same point where basically the Sasi Punu ki jo story thi, she belongs to that place as well. And there was a coyote was also nearby as well. So wo bhi hum zara thoda bahut say, but we didn't care. We just wahan pe baithe hue the. We were just enjoying the sunset. Quickly filmed, and we were just actually when the sun went down, we absorbed those things. It's a blessing to actually just have gone through and witnessed the whole landscape with this guy. It couldn't have been a better feeling, really, to be honest. Not for myself, but I think I speak in behalf of the whole crew who are into this as well. Like Umair said, one big happy family.
I remember we were in Gwadar, Zeeshan. We were in Gwadar, and Chacha started crying because he hadn't seen Gwadar ever, or he hadn't seen the ocean like that. Yeah. And he was in tears, and he literally hugged me and Zeeshan and said that I'm 60 plus years old, and I would have died in a few years. लेकिन मैंने कभी ये जगह ना देखी होती, मैंने सनसेट या सनराइज गवादर का नहीं देखा होता. And he told us how indebted he is, and we just hugged him back and laughed and said, क्या हो गया चाचा, कैसी बात, सेंटी क्यों हो रहे हैं, ग्लूको बिस्किट खाएं. तो बहुत खाता था. वो बहुत ग्लूको बिस्किट खा रहा था तो हमने कहा चाचा क्यों चाचा सेंटी ना ग्लूको बिस्किट खाए. So, these things really change you. These things really matter.
Yeah.
And I think they're like people tell me, Zishan has said this to me, and I see it in myself as well. That there was a Zishan Parwez and Umair Jaswal Rahi, Easypaisa Raahi. There's a
Yeah.
Zishan Parwez, Umair Jaswal, Bakar, Danish, Haris, our drivers, everybody involved post Easypaisa Raahi. And even for the brand, I think there was a brand before Easypaisa Raahi. Now there's a brand after Easypaisa Raahi because they're a brand that are asking all the right questions. They're a brand with the courage to be in the world of entertainment and dance numbers and all of that kind of stuff. They're a brand who want to engage the youth, the 70% population of this country, and give them a vision for the future. The whole idea that the show was built on was this one basic idea: leave the youth and this current millennial population of our country a little bit more curious about the things that they know or the things that they don't know and the things that are worth looking into, so that whatever state we have gotten our country in, maybe we can leave it in a slightly better place or in a slightly better position. So that was the whole idea when it comes. If you ask me, in my heart, uh, this show has connected me with my existing fan following or the new fans that we've made along the way, in a very different way, in a very spiritual way, in a very interesting way, where people have really poured their hearts out in the comment section. We usually get comments जब कभी हम कोई काम करते हैं तो ये अच्छा है या ये बुरा है, likes हैं या dislikes हैं. We rarely get comments where people have taken the time and effort to write pages के paragraph और अपना दिल खोल के वो they're pouring their hearts out. And what you read on the comment section is just one side that you're reading. There are DMs. My inbox is flooded with direct messages from people all across the world.
Yeah.
People have cried while watching the show. People have laughed. People have had goosebumps. People have had so many experiences. Like मुझे आज किसी ने एक बात लिखी कि मैंने पढ़ी तो I read these things every day. I go through everything, and I wish I could respond to each and every single one of them. But it's not humanly possible because there's so many thousands and thousands of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, someone said that this show is like a complete life. It's filled with joy. It's filled with sadness. It's filled with surprises. It's filled with ups and downs that we face in life. So it's just when the show was ending, he was saying that I cried uncontrollably because I felt that this is going to be taken away from me for at least a year, and I have nothing to look forward to on Saturday anymore. And I have lived again with this show. So if we have done, and this change has been, and this people have felt this in the numbers are insane, the thousands and millions.
Yeah.
But if we can, as human beings, if we can change one heart, if we can tell one person that here you go, your life is in your control, go and live it. What's stopping you? The things that you fear, they really don't exist. It's all in your head, and you have to be in control of your life. You need to take complete charge, complete control of your life. Go and be the captain of your own ship and dictate and direct your life the way you want. And so many people have not only riding, because riding is one part. I love riding. I love two-wheelers. That's my freedom of expression. Like my freedom, when I want to really enjoy and feel free. I go to my bike, and that's a therapeutic experience for me. But people have told me that they've started writing again. People have told me that they've started painting again. People have told me that they were good at martial arts and they left it when they were kids and they've picked that up again. So people are picking up things that they left behind, things that were so dear to their hearts. People have reconnected with old friends. People have called their distant relative and told them that, hey, I love you and I miss you. And I just wanted to call and say hi because our time here is very limited. And I just wanted to say thank you for whatever time we've had together. So these are human things, and these are very, very basic things. इनमें कोई complication नहीं है. Sometimes the most beautiful things in life are the most basic things. And I think we have somehow achieved, and I cannot thank the fans enough for being receptive, for having an open heart while watching the whole thing, and for showing and telling us what the show means to you. And I'm forever indebted for your time and attention that you've given.
That's very cool to hear, and all the things that you're mentioning that people told you that they're doing. Like I saw it, the series, like episodes. मैंने अभी जब आई थी तो मैं देख ही रहा था, but before this I saw the whole thing in one go all over again. And these are all things that happened throughout. You were going through sort of these experiences, meeting old friends, the martial arts. That martial arts academy in Quetta is amazing. I did not know about this at all.
Wonderful, wonderful people.
Or
it was my second time there, and it was absolutely wonderful people too, and they were so accommodating, so welcoming. I was actually just, Umair was super. I remember, Umair, do you remember wo kids when they just were lining up and they were showing their special moves to you, and they put on a show. They were just super excited to actually.
I remember I remember I was feeling a little sick because of exhaustion, and I was a little under the weather. So I decided to go and wait in the car, and maybe because I wasn't really feeling well. And Zeeshan called me and he said the kids are heartbroken and they're like really sad and they're shattered that maybe you've left. They think that you've left. I told them, no, I haven't left. I'm in the car and back. Because they were prepping up different angles and different lighting and stuff like that. So, but the love that we've received from the people of Pakistan, it's insane. And I always say that there's a truth out there which is different. Ali's truth is different than my truth. We need to go out and find our own truth. And don't believe what you hear from me. Even me, don't believe me. Don't believe a word that I say. Go and find out for yourself. And that's why at no point in this series we tried being preachy or we tried being forcing our idea on someone. We just want you to go and find out. And again, like I say in the show, somewhere out there's a beautiful journey just waiting just for you. So please go and experience that.
Speaking of journeys, just a few things left for me to talk about from our list. There was a big focus. Now you're obviously interested in riding bikes and you've been doing it for a long while. Episodes maybe, at least in the Lahore, Karachi and Quetta one, there was a big emphasis on motorbike related initiatives and people who are into the whole idea of riding. So was that something shuru se that you were thinking ke is pe focus hona chahiye, and why was that important to you?
See, when you love something, your heart also hurts when you see it being demonized. Unfortunately, Pakistan has this issue where when we can't understand anything, when we don't have the acceptance or the knowledge or the experience or the vision to understand something, we demonize it and we just start looking down upon it. When we tell people who live outside of Pakistan that how much a bike really costs in Pakistan, they can buy 3 bikes and a car abroad for that. So the government has been taking and getting taxes from us and import duties from us, and then they demonize it, and then they make you feel like criminals when they stop you whenever they feel like. So it's not on at all. And bikers ko jis tarah treat kiya jata hai, not just heavy bikers, normal regular bikers. Bikers are the maximum number of commuters on the road in Pakistan. It's the most utilized and most affordable and the most utilized form of public transport. And they're demonized and they look down upon. Yes, अगर आपको processes change करने हैं दुनिया में, लोग बुरे नहीं होते, चीजें बुरी नहीं होती, टेक्नोलॉजी बुरी नहीं होती, आप अपने processes को बेहतर करें, आप अपने लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को इन्फोर्स करने के तरीकों को बेहतर करें. आप अगर कोई लाइन काट रहा है उसका चलान करें. इफ यू डोंट हैव द कैपेबिलिटी ऑफ गिविंग किसी को लाइन क्रॉसिंग का टिकट नहीं दे सकते आप, तो आपको कोई हक तो नहीं बनता कि आप किसी को कहें कि यार इंसान ही बुरा है. दुनिया में हर जगह रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस होते हैं इसीलिए, और लॉज इसीलिए होते हैं कि उनको फॉलो किया जाए. अगर आप वो लॉज इंप्लीमेंट करना शुरू कर दें, अगर आप किसी को ओवर स्पीडिंग पे रोकेंगे और उस पर फाइन रखेंगे अच्छा सा तगड़ा सा, तो वो नहीं करेंगे ओवर स्पीडिंग. And just because आपकी अपनी कमी है, आपकी lack of control है on to organize or operate something, या to manage something, आप उसको फौरन से डिमोनाइज कर दें, उसको कहें ये अच्छी नहीं है, ये तो बुरी चीज है, फिर आपने टैक्स भी खाना है उस पर, और फिर आप उसके ऊपर लोगों, और लोग पैसे खर्च रहे हैं इस चीज के ऊपर, लोगों की मजबूरी है, और but nobody wants to be treated bad, so that's why there were so many initiatives jahan pe I really wanted to step in and say, yaar, this is not on, it's Women on Wheels is a great initiative, and I think everybody should support it. Women should be independent enough to ride bicycles or motorcycles or whatever they want in this country. It's their choosing. Men and women are created equally, and they have equal rights. Women rights are human rights, and there's no way we could stop them. I was so saddened by reading somewhere on Twitter that this girl was denied a motorcycle license because she was just a girl, and it just broke my heart that what kind of world are we living in even today, where and I think जब हम ये सोचना शुरू कर देंगे ना कि जो हम अपने लिए या अपने प्यार करने वालों के लिए या अपनी फैमिली मेंबर्स के लिए देखना चाहते हैं दुनिया में, वो वैसे हम दुनिया को भी देखें, वैसे हम अपनी सोसाइटी को भी देखें, so a lot of things will change.
But that's because I have never ridden a motorcycle, but I'm very interested. So I was really happy to see that Moin has got the full the dirt bike trail, and then there's Zenith, and then the Quetta biker scene. I think just to wrap up, I wanted to ask about the lessons that you have learned from this season, and how, without giving anything away, how they might impact the next season, if there's something that you can talk about.
There are only 3 words that I'm gonna say, and that's gonna be my answer to this.
Oh no!
3 golden words that I've learned. Respect the process.
Okay.
That's it. That is it.
Zeeshan, what about you? Do you have 3 words or more?
Learning processes. I hope there's not a second wave of COVID. Please. I hope to God there's not another wave of COVID coming our way, because we can't go through that again. It will it just scares me, literally, to be honest. I'm the reason I'm saying it because as of today, a medical college here in Peshawar just shut down because the numbers are spiking. And I'm not talking about Rahi or anything like that, but generally for everything, the whole thing, making Rahi in the midst of the COVID catastrophe was also an experience itself as well. And jab Rahi khatam ho gayi thi, when we were editing the last episode, myself and Abu Bakar, we were just editing it, and I talked to Umair, and I said, Umair, this is the last one. We were like, oh my God, yaar, to is तरह Lord of the Rings wali journey thi yaar, ki Frodo ne सारे editing हो गया. And then उसके बाद there's a sense of कि बस Frodo has been broken and बस पागल हो गया है. He leaves Middle Earth वगैरह. We survived COVID, doing editing as well at the same time, in the midst of whole thing. So I just hope for everyone's sake we don't have to go through that again. That was a very, very hard one.
No, definitely. I'm sure everyone definitely agrees with that sentiment. Before we go, Umair, I have one very important question that I could not find the answer for. So now I have you here. I have to ask you. You had, throughout the series, you had this yellow hoodie. Where is that yellow hoodie from?
I will. We're putting that hoodie out very soon.
Really?
With the clothing brand.
Oh, very good. Acha. Revamp. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send it to you, man. You're gonna have it.
Oh wow. Okay, that's amazing. Because
please let me know your size, and I will send it to you. People have been asking me about that hoodie everywhere, and thank you so much for loving it. But
that hoodie is the character in its own right. In all the episodes.
Character. Yellow hoodie वापस.
Before we go, I just want to thank everyone once again. Thank you so much everyone, for having this conversation with us. I think we haven't talked this openly about the show in a while, and we talked way over our time, and we had a lot of fun talking to you about all of this, and it was great talking about the show as well after it's done. So thank you so much for the experience and for sharing this with us.
No, of course.
And at the same time, everyone who will watch this, please follow this guy. He's doing a very heartfelt, great thing. And at the same time, everybody who has been a part of the show, from the production team to the people, to the creators, with a big shout out to my big brother, who's always been there, Sarmad Ghafoor.
Yes, Sarmad Ghafoor. We forgot Sarmad Ghafoor. How could we forget Sarmad?
So I just forget
my mentor.
Big shout out, and thank you for the patience and love. There are rarely times when people start talking about a score in Pakistan, and that's the first time. And I think Sarmad is an absolute genius. I've been working in all my professional life, and he's really set the bar really high. And again, so big thank you to everyone from our production team. I'm going to thank Danish for sticking by me with the original vision. From the very first bike ride we took, and we took some photography done and some shots, for that, and that idea went and blew up into something big. So Danish, we will be always indebted, and we're looking forward to be together and working in the future again. And Abu Bakar, we found out in this process, and has been absolute gem for us. Haris, Ehsan, everybody who's been a part of this. Thank you so much, guys. And again, the amazing people at Easypaisa. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your confidence. To many more in the future, and hope we don't let you down. Thank you.
I think that's as good as an ending as I could have hoped for. That's proper. So wrap up ho gaya. Thank you very much, guys, for being on the show. I'm going to stop.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for watching, listening, everything. TBR Podazar group account, Easypaisa Raahi is what they did. You already know, but go watch it again, third, fourth time. It's all good. Thank you very much, guys, for coming. People watching, we're going to stop.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, man. Take care. Thank you, everyone. I love you.
Take care. God bless.